welcome back to That Dad Guy. It's time again for myself and Snail Mail with Smokey to get together for a stamp versus stamp. You guys have been tuning in every month to see what little adventures we get up to, what quirkiness we can do with stamps. Well, Smokey said, hey, I heard you're going on vacation. I want to go on vacation too, but I want to go around the world. I've got this unlimited budget, and so let's go around the world. We're going to go on 10 different flights or trains or wherever, and we're going to do it completely random. We're going to let the internet choose where we're going to go. We're just going to throw a dart at a map, and that's where we're going to end up going. Well, it can't be just that simple, can it? Well, wherever we go, now the dart has to do this. We've got some exceptions. The dart has to hit land. It can't hit water, otherwise it doesn't count. It can't hit the Arctic or Antarctica. That doesn't count either. But anything else is fair game, and that's where we have to go. When we get there, we're going to have to pick a stamp to figure out what represents that country. So a stamp from that country, something we like, can be anything, really. But then after that, I'm going to ask a question of Smokey, and Smokey's going to ask a question of me about the destination we are at, and we're going to have to answer it. So it could be something simple, it could be something hard. Depends on how mean Smokey is to me, and vice versa. Now, in order to get the full experience, you're going to have to watch my video. Then you're going to have to watch his video too to see what destinations he's landed in and what questions I asked him. And also what stamps he decided to pick. So that's kind of the fun challenge of it. It's completely random, and we want you there with us. But before I get going, I better pack. All right, I've got my hat. I've got my suitcase. We're ready to go. Let's find out where the first destination is. Right after you make sure you like, you subscribe, you leave positive comments, you share with other people, and you put the notification bell on. And most of all, after that, don't take life too serious. It's fun. We want to go on this adventure. We want you there coming along with us too. So let's figure out where I'm going first. All right, let's throw this first dart, see where we end up. Well, it ends up in the water, so we're not going there. Next one, back to the water, in the water, in the water, in the water. The first one is landing in Russia, so Russia it is. Well, I made it to my first destination. I found this nice little cafe. Yeah, it's cute. It's got a map of the world on it. I'm right here in Russia right now, and I started over here in Eastern Canada, in Moncton. And so, first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, I probably don't need this hat. It's the same temperature as in Canada. I don't need a white winter hat. This is my Canada Post one for delivering in the mail in the wintertime, but it protects my head from getting sunburnt regardless. I'm going to start by showing you this stamp. Came out in 1957. It is Scott number 1985. It shows a carrier pigeon and globes. And the reason why I'm showing you this stamp when showing you Russia is to reassure you that peace is possible, and there is more to our great world than some of the political things that are going on in it. And there are some amazing people in every country around the world. And post-crossing has taught me that, and stamp collectors have taught me that over and over again. The generosity of the people of the world is greater than the fear that we are instilled by some of the things that come from our political leaders and the media around us. So maybe make note of that when referring to other people, that not all people are painted with the same brush. And so, Smokey, what do you have for me on my first destination?
You've left Moncton and you've traveled to your first destination. So my first question is simple. Where's the first place you're going? What's the very first thing that you want to see when you get there?
Where's the first place I'm going to go when I'm here? Well, I'm in Moscow, so the first place I'm going to go is St. Basil's Cathedral in Red Square. It is an amazing cathedral. I've always wanted to see it. And it was built in the 16th century by, well, not by Ivan the Terrible, but he's the one who got it going to be built. And it's not like anything you've ever seen before. So there are so many places to see and so many things that I would like to experience in Russia, that this is just one of the many. But I'm in limited time. I got to spin the globe and go someplace new. I've had a great time in Russia. Let's find out where I'm flying to next and hope my plane is on time. looks like I'm going to, oh, just outside. Throw it again. Here we go. It looks like we're going to Africa. I've landed in my second destination. It is here in Ghana, in Africa. So we've gone from Russia to Ghana. We've changed continents. We've changed completely different cultural experiences. So I want to show you this particular stamp. It came out in 1958. It's Scott number 21. And it shows the Conference of Independent African States. And you can see in red here, these are the African states that have their independence. And Ghana was the first sub-Saharan African country to get independence from colonial rule. So that's why I'm showing you this particular stamp. And I realized I've got the same clothes on because I forgot to pack different clothes. So as I travel, I'm going to be in the same clothes, I think. Maybe just different hats. I don't know. We'll see. All right, Smokey, what should I do while I'm here? What do you want to know?
Well, you and I are both huge foodies, and we know that this world is a gastronomical buffet of tasty treats and delights. So in your second destination, what is the one food that you have just got to try?
You want to know what the one food is that I want to try while I'm here? Well, that's easy. It's chocolate, because Ghana is the second leading exporter of cocoa beans in the world. So their chocolate is second to none. Now, the people here, they don't eat it as a regular thing. It's more of a gift or a delicacy, but I'm certainly going to try it while I'm here before I have to go off to the next location, which is happening very soon. What an amazing time we've had in Ghana. Now, where are we going to go? We are going to, oh, did that hit land? It looks like it may have hit land. And yes, we are going to Long Island, New York. So off to the United States. See you there soon. Okay, third destination, third continent. We're in the Americas, and we're in the United States of America. We are on the eastern seaboard here. The dart actually landed right in Long Island, which is amazing because I did spend a summer living in Long Island, working in a restaurant in Southold, and got to bike all over the island, actually bike from Manhattan all the way out to Orient Point. It was fantastic. My New York Yankees, of course, are there, and I love seeing them. So I'm here. I'm ready for baseball, and this is the stamp I want to show you. It came out in 1922 to 25. It's Scott number SD7, and it's a post office truck. The series is amazing. It's a special delivery stamp. Not one of your normal stamps that you would see, but the art on it is incredible, and because it's postal theme, I wanted to show you that too. But while I'm here, I've got limited time. Smokey, what do you want to know?
Well, you're a little ways in now. You're at your third destination, and I am sure that you are buying postcards all along the way. So my question is this. At your third destination, what postcard are you going to buy, and what is going to be the prominent image on that card?
You want to know what postcard I'm going to buy while I'm in the United States and what's going to be on it? Well, I'm here in New York. It's got to be a Statue of Liberty postcard. And what symbolizes the United States more than the gift of the Statue of Liberty from France? First of all, it is what so many immigrants saw when they were trying to find a new home in the United States, where they could get a fresh start, where they would be accepted by everyone. That was the rule, that if you were coming to the States and you wanted to live your American dream, anybody could do it. It just took hard work. And hopefully that is still the case and will be for many years to come. But I can't stay here. I got to go somewhere else. It's been a while since I've been on Long Island, but it's nice to be back. But we got to go somewhere else now. And we are just outside of Canadian water. Let's throw it again. Looks like we are inside. We are going to India. Hey, maybe I'll see a friend while I'm there. Well, I'm learning to figure out that these cafes seem to be in every country I go to, and they look all the same. Well, I'm right here in India now, and I want to show you this particular stamp. It came out in 2000. It's Scott number 1856. It's for Children's Day. And the reason I wanted to show you this particular one is that India does beautiful stamps for Children's Day on a regular basis. So it is something that you certainly could collect if you wanted to do one specific theme, if you're into stamps about children or celebration of children. I thought, this is a wonderful stamp and a wonderful series. So way to go, India, for continuing to do this. Smokey, what do you want to know while I'm here?
Well, you've got to dress for the occasion. At least that's what they say, whoever they is. So tell me, how are you dressing for this new locale that you're in?
Well, I seem to find myself in the southern part of India this time of year, and from the friends that I have there, the way I'm going to dress is in shorts and t-shirts and something to cover my head because it is hot, 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 hot. And coming from a northern climate, we get nice summers, don't get me wrong, but we don't get the heat and the dry heat that we get here in India. So I'm going to stay as cool as I can, but I'm also very envious of some of the fashions like these gentlemen get to wear. Just beautiful outfits. I don't think it would look good on me personally. I think it would look very odd. Our Prime Minister tried to pull it off and got into a lot of trouble by doing it, but beautiful clothing and, some of the world's clothing, most of the world's clothing comes from either India or China, so they make beautiful clothing with beautiful fabrics. All right, on to a new place. That was an adventure and a half. I can't wait to come back again, but we got to go someplace new. Are we inside? We are inside territorial waters. We are going off to Australia. Anybody else want to join me while we're there? I am certainly flying around from continent to continent to continent. Now I'm down here in Australia. So we've gone a long way away. And what I want to show you while I'm here is this particular stamp. It came out in 2006. It's Scott number 2524. It's Postie Kate, 50-cent piece. It's actually a series of stamps about the post office. And just very whimsical way of showing it. So I gravitated to the stamp in particular. What do you want to know while I'm here, Smokey?
There's an old saying here in America, and it goes like this: cash is king. So I'm wondering, what kind of money is jingling around in your pockets at this destination?
You want to know what kind of money's in my pocket? Well, I've got so much different types of money in my pocket now from all the travels that I've been doing, but the only currency that I'm allowed to use while I'm here is the Australian dollar. Here's some examples of what they look like if you happen to have the change or the bills. They, of course, are multicolored bills, just like we have in Canada, and many other countries around the world are like this too, but the change is weighing me down. Let's see if we can spend some of it and go somewhere. Always enjoy visiting new places and new regions, so let's go someplace else. A lot of water. Oh, we are going back to Australia, so we don't even have to fly if we don't want. We're just driving down. Maybe we'll get a bus or something that'll take us down here. Well, we didn't get very far. We're still in Australia. I mean, it is a big country, but I guess there was more to see here. And so I wanted to show you this particular stamp. Came out in 2004. It's Scott number 2258. It's $1.45. It's the clownfish, or the Great Barrier Reef. Those of you that have seen Finding Nemo and you want to see how Nemo finds his father, gets back to, Sydney. I guess that's where they were trying to get to from the Great Barrier Reef. They were going to see the dentist down there on Wallaby Way. So when I saw this stamp, I thought, it reminds me, it's perfect. What do you want to know, Smokey, from here while I'm in Australia? You know what money I have. What else do you want to know?
We're more than halfway through our trip around the globe. So in destination number 6, here's my question. We all want to fit in with the locals. So tell me, what local words or phrases have you learned to adapt to this location?
Crikey, you want to know words or phrases I've learned while I've been here? Well, I haven't been here long, but I've been here longer than anywhere else, I suppose. Well, crikey, it's no surprise that's one of the words you want to hear, and you probably already know that, like Barbie for barbecue. Well, I've got a few more that I've written down here that maybe you haven't heard of, like Arvo, meaning afternoon, or Bathins for swimsuit. A billy for a teapot that you might find in the outback. Bloody oath, meaning very true. a bludger, a lazy person, a cobber is a friend. So there are a few terms that maybe you haven't heard of, and now you know. All right, let's spin the globe. Where are we going to next? Throw that dart. Are we going to stay in Australia or go someplace else? Darts are flying. Did it hit land? Nope, we're in the Mediterranean, but not. Oh. Did we get it? Did we get it? Looks like we might be. Let's check that dart out. Oh, just outside territorial waters. That one's hit land. All right, now I find myself back in Africa. I'm in Morocco, up there, and I want to show you this particular stamp. This stamp came out in 1980. It's Scott number 448, and it's traffic signs and roads. The reason why I'm showing you this particular one, if you've traveled anywhere, you know that the signage changes drastically from place to place. Even traveling between Canada and the United States, you'll see different signs that mean different things, or a sign maybe you've never seen before, like watch out for moose. There might be a moose sign. You've never seen that before. Maybe if you're in Australia and you come visit us here, and vice versa when you're traveling in Africa, Asia, Europe, or North America, or the Americas in general, your signages are going to change. So if you happen to be renting a car and driving, be careful. Know the signs and what they mean. Smokey, what do you got for me?
Whether you're in a big metropolitan area or a rural landscape, people get from place to place in different ways. So what's the most popular mode of transportation where you're at? How do people get around?
What's the most popular mode of transportation here in Morocco? Well, it's a developed country like so many others. They have fast trains and trams and cars and trucks. And if you're in the cities, you're going to be using taxis a lot. So those are no unusual transportation methods. But if I'm going to be here in Africa and I'm going to get out of the city, one thing I'd like to try is a camel. So we don't have a lot of camels other than in the zoo here in Canada. And the only ever time I've ever been on a camel was in a touristy spot in Maine when my family were there staying at a B&B at one point in time. There was a place you could do camel rides, which was very weird to have that next door in Maine, but they did. But if I happen to be in Africa, it'd be nice to try going on a camel there. Let's throw that dart. Had a great time in Morocco. What's next? Well, I'm now here in Kazakhstan, which is right under Russia there. You can see the bright yellow one. I'm in Kazakhstan, and this is a stamp that I want to show you while I'm here. It came out in 1998. It's Scott number 237. It's a figure skating stamp from the Nagano Olympics. I just like the content of it. I thought it was cute, and I don't need this big fuzzy hat, so I'm going to take it off and find out what Smokey wants me to learn while I'm here.
Destination number 8. Now, I'm sure in all of your travels thus far, you've met some really interesting people. But here's my question. Are there any famous people where you're at right now?
Who is the most famous person in Kazakhstan? I thought this was such a great question to get for this particular country. It made me laugh. Now, I have two options here for you. One is real and one is not real. First, I'm going to go with the very real person because they deserve it. And whether they're the most famous or not, maybe the most famous currently, but it's Yildiz Smetov. So Yeldos Mettov. And he's the gold medalist in judo in the 60 kilogram weight class. It was the only gold medal that Kazakhstan won in the Paris 2024 games. So I would think his popularity must be pretty high, and he's won some world championships in judo too. He's only 31 years old, so he has done great things and represented his country very strongly. So I'm thinking his fame must be at an all-time high right now. Now, why I giggled and why maybe Kazakhstan wouldn't appreciate this nearly as much, but when I think of famous person in Kazakhstan, I think of this individual. And this is Borat. Yeah, he's a fictional character. He has been played by Sacha Baron Cohen. And his movies are hilarious, but they are all tongue-in-cheek. So whatever is in them, you got to take with a grain of salt. His humor is a little bit off the wall. It may not be for you, but it makes me laugh too. And maybe that's because I have lowbrow humor sometimes. But he was the most famous person that I knew from Kazakhstan that really wasn't from Kazakhstan. He's from Great Britain. All right, let's throw that dart. I am learning so much on this trip. I can't wait to see where I'm going next. All right, now we're back, not in India, but in Pakistan, right next to it there. They both got their independence from Great Britain around the same time. I want to show you this particular stamp. It came out in 1961. It's got number A43. It's a Child Welfare Week stamp with a symbolic flower. I just like the shape of it. It stood out when I was looking for stamps. I like the fact that it was an early on as they became an independent country. And yeah, they've got a lot of history there. And there's a lot going on. A lot of archaeological digs and findings are in that area. A lot of history. Smokey, what do you want to know?
Rob, you and I are both students of history. So for your 9th destination, give me a historical fact.
You want one historical fact about Pakistan? Well, this one kind of stuck out to me that I didn't really know at the time. It has the 6th largest standing army in the world and is a nuclear power. I did know it was a nuclear power, but I didn't know its army was as large as it was. And they have 241 million people in Pakistan. That's a lot of people. I realize their neighbor India is one of the largest countries population in the world now. I think it actually has surpassed China. So I think it may be the largest population-wise in the world. So there is a lot of dense population. And dense, I don't mean by intelligence, I mean by massive amounts of people all in a small area. To think there's 241 million people here. And in Canada, we've got 35 or 36 million people. It's just incredible. Let's throw that dart. The final dart. Where are we going before we go home? We are going back to Africa. Well, I've reached my final destination before I head home, and I'm in Ethiopia here in Western Africa. And this is the stamp that I'm going to show you. It came out in 1895. It's got number 5. It's the Lion of Judah in lilac brown. And I wanted to show you this one because Ethiopia has been around for a very long time. It's one of the oldest countries in the world. And when they talk about the 13 Jewish tribes that were spread out, a lot of them went to Ethiopia was the historical thought that they ended up there. People of my generation, when they think of Ethiopia, sometimes they just think of the famine and Live Aid that happened in the 1980s. But if you do the research, there is so much more to this country, and it is overwhelming. It is one of those places that I think I would love to go see in person. I mean, I'm here now, but go back again and see it more. I mean, I got to see more than just these cafes that seem to be all over the world. They're exactly the same. And I got to come when I've got more than just this pair of clothing. So, Smokey, what's your final question?
Well, congratulations, you've done it. You've made it to your 10th and final destination around this wonderful planet. And so for my final question, what is the thing that surprises you most about this 10th destination? So tell me something that surprised you about this place and that would also surprise us.
You want to know facts that surprised me about Ethiopia? Well, I've written them down because I was surprised by the facts of Ethiopia. First of all, it is the only country in Africa that wasn't colonized by Europe. Now, the Italians tried during the Second World War. They were stationed there, but they were, for 6 years, were being battled by Ethiopian forces the whole time that they were there. It was a conflict zone. So they have had their independence this whole time without being a colony. That was one fact. The next big fact was they don't go by a 12-month calendar like the rest of the world. They go by a 13-month calendar. I'm not sure if there are any other nations that do that, but they have their own calendar system with 13 months. Also, how they tell time is different too. So if you're to catch a scheduled bus or train in Ethiopia,
you better check to see whether or not it is on Ethiopian time or not, because Ethiopian time goes 1 o'clock is sunrise and 12 o'clock is sunset. And then the evening hours vary based on if it's a shorter or longer time in the year. So that's another fact I did not know. Excuse me. Also, Ethiopia is the birthplace of Rastafarianism, not Jamaica. So if you look at Ethiopia's flag, you might see a similarity to Rastafarianism. Did you know, if you're a coffee lover, that coffee was discovered first of all in Ethiopia? Many people love Ethiopian blend coffees. There's probably a good reason for it if they invented coffee. It's one of the world's oldest countries. And the last fact I'll leave you with was an Olympic fact, because we just finished the Olympics, so I thought this might be cool. That in 1960, Abibi Bikala was the first black African to win a gold medal in the Olympic marathon. And he was there as a replacement for someone who just had broken their foot. And he won the marathon in his bare feet. And then if that wasn't an amazing accomplishment enough, in 1964 in Tokyo, he came back and he won it again. He's the first person ever to win 2 marathons back to back. So props to Ethiopia and some of those really cool bits of history and fact that are there. It might be a place, if you haven't been there before and you're always wondering where you wanted to go in the world, maybe Ethiopia is one of those places that you might want to think that should be on the list, I think. All right, we're spinning that globe and we're heading back home.
I love traveling and seeing the world, but it's good to be home once again. Thank you to Smokey for this world adventure, traveling the globe, displaying some stamps a little bit, talking about history and learning facts about countries that maybe you didn't know about already. We're trying to keep it quirky and light. Every month we're doing something like this. So if you want to give us a suggestion on something to do, make sure you leave it in the comments. Also, make sure after you finish watching this one, you go over to Stn Main with Smokey's channel, check out his video. Also leave him comments, like his videos, be a subscriber for his channel. And all the encouragement we can get really helps us to carry on and to think of new things to show and talk about every month. So with that being said, I hope that you liked the video and that it was a little bit quirky, a little bit fun, and a little bit educational. You guys have a magical week. What, Polo? You say like, subscribe, share, and tell all your friends?
Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Bye.